Hello, my name is Michael Dempsey with the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation. Normally our videos focus on some pretty serious subject matter, but with this next series we're looking to do, it's going to be a little bit more fun and lighthearted. So we're pleased to present you with Membership Spotlight, where we're going to be taking a look at some of our members and their interest in the Civil War history of North Mississippi. So if you're a member and you want us to tell your story, please let us know. Anyway, enjoy the videos, and if you haven't already, please consider joining the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation today.
Graham Osborne with the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation, and today we are at the Mississippi's Final Stands Interpretive Center in Baldwin, Mississippi, and we are doing our very first Membership Spotlight, where we take some questions to some of our members that have joined, and they tell us a little bit about their interest in the Civil War and history and about themselves, so we can share with our other members. So today we have Maury Schuh from Tupelo, Mississippi, and he's going to be answering some of the questions we have, and he's a really interesting guy, so let's get this going.
Well, I was born here in Baldwin at the little Caldwell Hospital, which no longer stands, but I was raised in Tupelo. I split my career between law enforcement and the military. I would go between active duty, back working. I spent 10 years as a commander of a vice narcotics task force here in this area.
Wow.
I was a polygraph examiner, and I was later a police chief till I was formally declared disabled.
Okay.
Like that. On the civilian sector there. And, my general hobbies and interests have always been military history and collecting antique firearms. Oh my goodness, I'll tell you what got me started in it. It was the centennial reenactment in 1964 for the Battle of Bryce's Crossroads. I was here. Wow, that made such an impression on me right then. And then luckily, my grandfather was good friends with Mr. Claude Gentry, who had the museum in Baldwin and who wrote this book, Crossroads, along with many others. And I got to visit and spend all this time regularly with Mr. Gentry up there at this little log cabin museum. He was able to tell me stories about my ancestors, like Henry Lawrence Holland, who actually lived out here in the battlefield. And it just grew from there. Oh my goodness. Well, I need to give a little bit of background. I started reenacting in the mid-70s with Dr. James Cook from the University of Mississippi, a famous Civil War researcher also. And up through the 80s, I continued my reenacting career. I began hosting Civil War battle reenactments, including 2 events here at Bryce's Crossroads. I coordinated those. And it went on till Desert Storm. And Desert Storm, I got mobilized. After that, I kind of went to more of a period of collecting antique firearms and an interest in general military history. But after my last deployment in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom, I'm 100% disabled. Came home, I can't work, and I just had a lot of time, and I got to following Stark Miller and Mike Kidd on Facebook, and I was seeing their posts, and I was saying, I have all this information in my files, research that I've compiled over the years, and it needs to be shared or it's going to be lost forever.
Yeah.
So it's really Mike Kidd and Stark Miller that got me back on the track. I'm looking at it from this standpoint. We have a lot of this older generation now that we have collected all this data, but there is not a younger generation that is showing the interest. We need to get this data out to spur that interest, to try to get more people involved in Civil War history. And that's my main goal right there, is getting the upcoming crowd coming in. Let's teach them, let's pass on the knowledge that we've gained. Well, we do have a private group, North Mississippi Civil War History. It's a spinoff from Civil War in the Mississippi, North Mississippi. In this private group, you can pose questions to a lot of subject matter experts, people from the National Park Service, famous authors, and all are all part of this group. You have a question, you post it in there, and I'm sure we can get you an answer. Well, it's twofold. One, back in the mid-'80s, I started pushing and talking to Claude Gentry about we needed a monument to the U.S. colored troops for not just Bryce's Crossroads, but for what all they did in the area. They were played a good role in the battle between Pontotoc and Tupelo during the Tupelo-Harrisburg campaign. And we just needed to recognize them because they were forgotten. So many people didn't even know they existed. So that was one of my main goals there. And the other is my great-great-great-grandfather is Henry Lawrence Holland, who had a farm just above the Crossroads. And two of the USCT's defensive lines on the retreat from Bryce's Crossroads were fought on his property. It goes back to what I said before. I want to see our knowledge preserved and passed on to others. I see Bryce's Crossroads Foundation as the group in the area that is going to pull together, like SCV, Sons of Confederate Veterans, United Daughters of Confederacy, people from National Park Service, our local museums, all together in one umbrella so we can disseminate information to others and, like I said, spur that interest with the younger generation.